Hello, this is Dr. Bill Seeger, one of the co-directors of the EMBA program with my colleague Randy Napier. We are coming to you from downtown Fort Worth at UTA Arlington's Fort Worth campus. And I'm so pleased to have Lynn Teel with me today. Lynn is one of the executive coaches in our executive MBA program. And I really think our executive coaches are one of the underrated gems of our program, Lynn. And so I'm really happy to hear, everything that you do to help our students. But the purpose of our podcast is to talk to the executive coaches and really do a deep dive or a deeper dive than we might have been doing about what they do, because I really think it's something that the prospective students should understand and know about and take advantage of, right? Because many of them don't, apparently. So we want them to take advantage of this opportunity since they've already paid for it. So once again, welcome to you. You are a very busy lady, so we're happy that you could come in today and talk to us here. And if you could, as they say, get the ball rolling with telling us a bit about yourself, your education, and your professional career, so that students know about that when they meet you.
Thank you so much for having me, Bill. It is a pleasure to be here and take time to tell students a little bit more about what we offer. As far as me, I born and raised in Texas and spent most of my childhood in Austin. Education-wise, I came to TCU. Sorry about that, but anyway, I came to TCU, undergrad in marketing and fashion merchandising, and then I do have a master's in sustainability from UTA, which I got in this downtown Fort Worth space, which is a great addition to my career.
And that's why we forgive you about the TCU part. Yes,
exactly.
You are a UTA alum.
I am, and really enjoyed my time here, and that actually is what led me to what I do now. You may ask, how does sustainability and etiquette tie together? And I tended to focus my sustainability efforts more on talent retention and acquisition, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later today, but that was actually a very smooth transition. I spent a lot of time owning my own business, wholesale and retail both. That was kind of my first love growing up, but I've always been very community and volunteer oriented. Spent a lot of time doing that. So I did a lot of things that I didn't necessarily get paid for, but were very important, and I think made a difference in quality of life in the communities that I have lived in, primarily being Fort Worth, Austin, and a couple other places here and there. But anyway, that going through life, I think it's been important to give back. And so therefore, just moving to the etiquette and the protocol has been a good opportunity to combine my community skills, my volunteer skills, my education, and just things I love to do, all wrapped into one. So, and
you mentioned the etiquette a bit, and that's the area that you specialize when you do what we're calling the executive coaching, correct?
Yes.
And I'm going to get into that a little bit more in a moment. But if you don't mind, I wanted to ask, you mentioned something that I didn't think about a lot, your entrepreneurial career, because I hope some current students are listening too. We have many of them that are interested in entrepreneurship. So you would be a resource in that area, correct? And I don't know if people know about that. So if you could talk about that a little bit.
Possibly so. I think so. I always, from the time I was a little girl, I always loved to be an entrepreneur of some sort. I am creative. I like to make things. I like to sell things. I like to talk to people. I like to entertain, and then I'm also interested in history and how things work. And so because of that, I kind of like to be more entrepreneurial, more how can I share something I know, teach something, have someone learn, bring people together, maybe a little bit more so than just working for someone else. I want to share ideas and share common interest, and being an entrepreneur, that's a great way to do that. And then also coming up with a suggestion or an idea, something that makes quality of life better or more enjoyable, whatever that may be, really gives you an opportunity to be more of an entrepreneur. And quality of life, everything that you do I like that. It's nice. It's a lot of hard work because you are the one that's responsible at the end of the day, much more so than you might think. But I like that. I like the hard work and the ability to make decisions and bring something to people that they may not be able to experience otherwise.
Now, as I've said, you're one of our great executive coaches. So, how did you get on to that path here at UTA? How did that come about? The executive coaching
With UTA in particular,
yes,
very interesting. I came to a function here. It was a breakfast, and sat next to one of the people involved with the program at that time, and he knew that I was a graduate of the program here, of the Master's in Sustainability, and he was asking me what I was doing, and I told him this path that I was on and how I had gotten there, which was more or less initiated by my path in sustainability. And he said, great, we need to talk to you. We need that in our program. And so I showed up for an event, for a networking event, and to meet people associated with the university and in the community. And that's what brought me here.
That's really interesting. It's kind of serendipity, right? You
Exactly.
go to these functions.
I love that word. Yes.
Yeah, and you never know who you'll meet, and then you find out how small the world is, right? Because you go, we have that connection. I would never have known that, and and that'll be, I'm sure, part of what we're going to hear about in a moment.
Yes.
When I ask you about etiquette. So I hope you don't mind. I would call you the etiquette coach, the etiquette lady. And so I was going to give my own witness to this. When I first heard it, I go, well, that's weird. But people had always talked very highly about it. So I thought, I'll keep an open mind. I want to hear more about this. And so tell us all about that and how it fits into an executive's education. That's what's impressed me the most about hearing about what you do, how passionate you are about executives need to know some of this, these ideas. Go ahead.
That's very true. I do think executives need to know about these ideas. It's very simple. Everyone can learn it. And if you remember that etiquette is really just it's kind of a code based on social acceptance of the way that we should conduct ourselves. And that kind of includes being courteous and kind. Everybody wants to be in a courteous and kind environment. It's very easy to set yourself apart. And by being courteous and kind, practicing etiquette, you put people at ease. And if you put people at ease, then they want to help you achieve your goals. Typically in business, we are trying to achieve goals. We are establishing relationships. I think it's pretty common knowledge that people want to do business with those that they have a relationship with. Well, how are you going to establish the relationship unless you put people at ease? If you're kind and you're courteous, it makes it much easier. You don't want to look around for people to follow. You want this to be natural. So if you have these skills, which anyone can learn, which are transferable to everyday life, there's no reason why you can't practice them and they're just part of your makeup and what you do, then it makes all of your meetings or interactions with people much easier and relaxed. And that way you can focus on business. And as a business person, don't you want to focus more on the business with someone that you know and that you want to spend time with?
Right, you want to do business with people you want to spend time
exactly.
with. Exactly. Right, yeah.
And then that in turn makes you more valuable to yourself, to your business plan, either that or to the corporations, any of the businesses that you work with. You have just upped your credibility, your accountability, your success rate for not only yourself, but also for your company. It makes you somewhat indispensable, which is nice. We all want to be.
So with that as a great lead in, could you take us through, I think there might be 5, but you'll correct me, the 5, meetings, because it's more than the golden rule. There's more to this than that. So please tell us about that.
Yes. Well, etiquette has lots of different components. And so during the times that students meet with me during their cohort, we meet typically 4 times a year. I believe we're adding a 5th this year, which I'm excited to tell you more about. Okay. But we kind of touch on all types of etiquette, whether it be communication, dining, networking, we start off with what we call self-presentation and minding your P's and Q's, which minding your P's and Q's has a historical context, and more or less it just means attention to detail. So we want to have attention to detail with our self-presentation. The second meeting is more about business presentation and protocol and communication. What your voice sounds like, how you present yourself when you are speaking with people, how you conduct yourself over the phone. The third meeting is dining, and it's dining your way to the head of the table, which I like to call it. If you can conduct yourself in the boardroom, you can conduct yourself at the dining table. If you can conduct yourself at the dining table, you're that much further along in the boardroom. So we talk about all the nuances of that, not only just in regular dining and 2 different types and styles, but also a business luncheon. What does that look like? Very simple things, again, can all be learned and can move yourself to the head of the table pretty quickly if you know them. And that actually includes a 5-course lunch that we have here on campus, which is everybody always looks forward to that. It's a lot of fun for them to practice what they have been learning about in class. And then the next one is networking, and we call it Networking Beyond LinkedIn, because it's not your social media, it's not your LinkedIn, all of those which are important and components of some of the programs. But this is more about, what do you do when you show up for an event? How do you prepare for that? What does your body language look like at that event? Your conversation, how do you remember names? How do you ask for a business card or exchange that? Some deference is involved in those learning situations as well. And then what do you do with the information after you leave? This is all about elevating yourself, elevating your company. All of these lessons and opportunities go towards that. How do I set myself apart? And not only me, but also my company, so that people want to do business with me and the company that either I own or that I work for. The 5th lesson this year, which we're excited about. Which
you said is new,
which is new. Okay. And we're also talking about adding a couple others as well. But the 5th one is that we're actually going to have a Chinese lunch or dinner this time with more Chinese experience, which is something that, and I think this is really great for a student to know, is that we evaluate each of our classes and ask for more things that they want to know or be informed about. And this is something that comes up each time because they go to China
we have the China immersion part of the program.
Exactly.
Yes, yeah.
We want to prepare the students in the best possible way to get as much out of those experiences. And so they will actually be having some more hands-on dining before they go, and kind of high-level type introductions and things, so that when they go, they're not as concerned about that, or they know how to ask for help, whatever it might be, to make it more of an engaged experience. What I have found in all of this etiquette training is that if you ask questions, if you are respectful, polite, kind, courteous, the things that we talked about earlier, people will forgive you a little bit.
Okay.
And
That's important.
Yeah, but not only that, but be more engaged with you and want to know more because you've taken an interest in them as well. So those are the five things that we have for this year. We are also looking at adding a section on professional dress, which we have other experts come in as well. There's so much confusion today about what is casual Friday, what is business casual. Do I really still need to wear a suit? We touch on that some when we talk about appearance, but this is a total package. We're talking about elevating everything that you do and feeling very comfortable in any situation. What do I do? What are the top 5 things? So basically we'll have 6 areas of focus for the coming year, which I think is really exciting and pretty amazing that UTA offers this. So,
do you know of any other, I don't, but do you know of any other program that offers anything like, to me, this is so unique.
I do not. And I think that really sets UTA apart. These are very basic life skills that people either think they don't need or they already have, and they don't take time to learn, yet they are the easiest things to elevate and set yourself apart. For instance, I would think, Bill, that you would remember someone that you may or may not want to dine with just based on what their manners were. Did they understand dining techniques? Did they put a napkin in their lap? Did they chew with their mouth full? Did you leave going, oh my gosh, I don't want to sit down with them again?
Right.
And that happens more often than you would think. Mm-hmm. Did you have a good introduction with someone? Did they shake your hand in a business professional manner? You would be amazed at the amount of people that need to work on that skill.
Right.
The thing is that you will never know if you have bad business etiquette because nobody's going to tell you. So you will not know why you didn't get the job, why you didn't get the client, or why you weren't invited back. People just don't tell you these things. And so the more that you can hone these skills, the better. You do not have to have a certain intellect. You do not have to have a certain upbringing. You have to have a willingness to want to improve those skills. And if you can do that, you set yourself apart as a kind, courteous, credible, respectful person, someone that someone wants to do business with. You can learn about all of the other amazing things. This you can put into practice every single day, every single moment of the day with your families, your friends, your peers, your fellow students. It goes with you. And I really applaud you all for offering this. So,
now, do you have any success stories that come to mind that you can talk about an outcome, a student that went through your class, and then some great story about, how it benefited them in business?
I think the things that come back to me the most are all of the smaller nuances of what set them apart as they began to notice things. A couple of different things. One is just the ease and the confidence that they feel in themselves because they are not looking around for what they should be doing. You need to be focusing on the relationship. So they go in more confident, stronger. They're standing a little bit taller. They can carry on a conversation. They know questions to ask. Even when they just go for the simple introduction, what that looks like that makes it a good, solid introduction handshake. So I see more of, oh my gosh, Lynn, I felt so much better. I could take time preparing, learning more about the company. I left there standing a little taller, knowing that my actions reflected my business acumen and that they went hand in hand. And I had compliments. Sometimes I will have the compliments that they receive are, they'll get an email like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for the follow-up note that you sent. Mm-hmm. We talk a lot about thank you notes and business thank yous and what's appropriate, or they are commended for their quick response time, their good grammar, all of these things that we take for granted or we don't think are so necessary. So those things are very important. There's a very famous quote by Peter Drucker. He was kind of, the father of...
The management guru.
The management guru.
Yeah.
And he said a while back, a long time ago, that I think still holds true, is that the majority of business decisions are made over a meal, lunch or dinner, but there are very few programs, if any, that teach those skills. Those are the things that a lot of times we take away is that what is your persona? How did you act? How did you conduct yourself? What's the overall package? Do I want to do business with them? If you're neat, clean, can shake their hand, have a dining experience, carry on a good conversation, smile, leave a great first impression, which we all know we have 7 seconds, and then you've got to carry that forward, then you're successful. So to me, the success stories that I hear back, I'm more confident, I was more calm. I have now forged a relationship because of the things that I learned in this program that were so simple yet made a huge impression and set me apart from the other candidate. So that's what is important to me and I like to hear, because if they're successful, then they are getting the skills that they need.
So I think I'm getting it now. That is, you lay out the best set of building blocks possible so that you can really establish relationships, which in business we really know is important. So I may say, I'm trying to establish a relationship with Lynn, but what does that really mean? But you've kind of taken it from A to Z. What you're doing is it defines a relationship kind of from beginning, middle, and on. with all your discussion. Go ahead. Yes.
Exactly. You're exactly right. You can really forge that relationship and learn what you do because you are not preoccupied with
what do I do next?
What do I do next? And you're not concerned about it. And then from the other perspective of the person that you're trying to forge the relationship with, whether it be a potential employer or client or friend relationship, a peer, they're not going, oh my gosh, I don't want to spend time with them because their appearance is not as such. They can't even manipulate the certain protocol of a meal that are just simple common courtesies, or they don't look me in the eye.
Right.
I really liked that person, but they didn't look me in the eye. Or I really thought they wanted the job and to come back, but they didn't follow up. So do they really? So I kind of help you seal the deal, forge the relationships, seal the deal, and help you present yourself in a manner that people want to forge relationships with you and do business with you.
Yeah, that's all fantastic, and I was happy that you would even take me on and let me attend your classes. So I'm probably a tough case. This has been fantastic. I wondered, not to put you on the spot, if we could have, I'm sure you have these, the Lynn Teel Etiquette Tip of the Day as we wrap up. Do you have an etiquette tip for our listeners and our potential candidates?
I have so many tips.
So many, it's hard to think of one.
Well, and actually, it's funny that you asked me this because we kind of, another great part of this program that goes well with this is that cohort students get a mentor for life. If you have questions, if you find yourself in a position, you can call me, ask me, text me, however you want to communicate. But I think really the most important thing to take away from this is that if you do whatever you need to do, whether it's a please or a thank you, looking someone in the eye, making them feel appreciated, and following the person. If you don't know what to do, follow whoever your host is. You will be okay. You will always be okay. But I think really just being kind and considerate of who you're with will do more for your relationship than anything that you can imagine. And that's kind of how I try to live each day. And I would encourage others to do the same.
Well, that's fantastic advice, and we can't thank you enough for coming today to talk to us about your great executive coaching and the etiquette. I think it's a real advantage for anyone who can take it, can avail themselves of what you're doing. And so I thank you for that, and please keep up the good work. And we're really thrilled that you're part of our EMBA program. And as you add more things, I think that's great to hear that you're expanding the program, as you've described. So that's fantastic. So thank you again. I know you're busy, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Bill. I've really enjoyed being here today and sharing a little bit about etiquette and protocol in the EMBA program.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.